The silent arrival, the Deep Space Patrol, had been routine for 3 cycles. Commander Zexthara stretched her forearms and yawned, her scaled face reflecting the boredom of another quiet shift in the outer rim territories of the Galactic Empire. The bridge of her patrol cruiser hummed with the gentle sounds of long-range sensors sweeping empty space, looking for pirates, smugglers, or the occasional lost cargo hauler. Her communications officer, a young Kelthani named Vrex, suddenly straightened. At his console, his violet eyes widened as multiple alarms began chiming across the bridge. "Commander, we have an unidentified vessel approaching from deep space. It's massive." Zexthara's tail twitched with sudden alertness. In 15 years of patrol duty, she had never heard that particular tone of amazement in an officer's voice. She moved swiftly to the tactical display, her clawed feet clicking against the metal decking. What she saw there made her breath catch in her throat. The sensor reading showed a ship unlike anything in their databases. It was enormous, nearly 3 times the length of an Imperial dreadnought, but its design was completely alien to their records. The hull appeared to be made of some dark, matte material that seemed to absorb their sensor beams rather than reflect them. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, and a soft blue glow emanated from what appeared to be engine ports. "Run a full scan," Zexthara ordered, trying to keep her voice steady. "Check all databases for a match." Vrex's fingers danced across his console for several minutes before he looked up with confusion. "Commander, the computer cannot identify a vessel's origin, design, or technology. But there's something else. The quantum signature. It matches old records from the restricted archives." Zexthara felt a chill run down her spine. The restricted archives contained information about species and events that the Empire preferred to keep buried. Specify. "The signature matches." "Humans, Commander. But that's impossible. Humans have been extinct for over 500 years. The bridge fell silent, except for the steady beeping of the sensors. Every member of the crew knew the official history. Humans had been a violent, chaotic species that had destroyed themselves in endless wars before the Empire had even made contact with them. Their home world had been found as nothing but radioactive dust and debris. Suddenly, the unknown vessel began transmitting, not through standard communication channels, but directly into their ship's computer systems, bypassing all security protocols with disturbing ease. The main screen flickered and displayed a simple message in perfect Galactic Standard. "To the forces of the Galactic Empire, this is the human vessel Defiance. We have come to collect what is owed. Prepare for accounting." The message repeated 3 times, then the transmission cut off. The mysterious ship continued on its course toward the inner systems, completely ignoring the patrol cruiser's presence. Zexthara's hands trembled slightly as she activated the emergency beacon. "This is Patrol 7 to Imperial Command. Priority Alpha alert. We have encountered what appears to be ... a human vessel. Requesting immediate reinforcement and guidance." The response came within minutes, but not from the local command structure. Instead, Admiral Cronval himself appeared on the communication screen, his harsh features set in grim lines. Behind him, Zexthara could see the bustling activity of the Empire's primary war room. "Commander Zexthara, you are to maintain visual contact with the vessel, but do not engage. Do not attempt communication. A full battle fleet is being dispatched. To your coordinates immediately. Admiral, with respect, the vessel is heading directly toward populated systems. Shouldn't we at least attempt to... You have your orders, Commander." Cronval's voice cut through her words like a blade. "That vessel represents a threat beyond your understanding. The High Council is convening an emergency session as we speak." The transmission ended, leaving Zexthara staring at the blank screen. Around her, the bridge crew exchanged worried glances. In all their years of service, none of them had seen such a rapid response from the highest levels of Imperial command. Meanwhile, on the capital world of the Empire, High Counselor Velteris stood before a massive holographic display showing the mysterious human ship. The council chamber, normally filled with political debate and bureaucratic procedure, buzzed with nervous energy. The vessel's technology appears to be far beyond our current understanding, reported the Empire's chief scientist, an elderly Vorthic named Dr. Melwin. Our sensors can barely penetrate its hull, and the ease with which it bypassed our communication. Security suggests capabilities we've never encountered. Counselor Veltaris studied the display with growing unease. Like all high-ranking Imperial officials, she had access to the true historical records, not the sanitized versions taught to the general population. She knew what the Empire had really done to humanity centuries ago. "What are our military options?" she asked Admiral Cronval. "Fleet Group Omega is moving to intercept. 47 vessels, including 3 dreadnoughts and the carrier Dominion. If this human ship truly poses a threat, we have the firepower to eliminate it. And if our records about human capabilities are incomplete," the Admiral's confident expression flickered slightly, "then we adapt and overcome, as the Empire always has." But Velteris wasn't convinced. The restricted files painted a very different picture of humanity than the official propaganda. According to those sealed records, humans hadn't destroyed themselves at all. They had been systematically hunted down and eliminated by Imperial forces after refusing to surrender their independence. The Empire had covered up this genocide by claiming humans had already been extinct when they were discovered. If humans had somehow survived and spent 5 centuries developing their technology in secret, the Empire might be facing an enemy far more dangerous than anyone realized. Back in space, the human vessel Defiance continued its steady approach toward the inner systems. On its bridge, Captain Sarah Chun stood before a wall of displays showing the Empire's frantic military response. Her expression was calm, almost serene, despite the magnitude of what was about to unfold. "Captain, we're detecting massive fleet movements throughout the sector," reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Marcus Webb. "They're mobilizing everything they have." "As expected," Sarah replied quietly. "How long until Fleet Group Omega intercepts us?" "Approximately 14 hours at current speed." Sarah nodded and walked to the front viewport, gazing out at the stars that had once been humanity's home among the galaxy. Her people had spent 5 centuries hiding in the dark spaces between systems, building their strength and waiting for this moment. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered. It's time they remembered what they tried to forget. The Defiance's hull began to change, segments sliding apart to reveal arrays of technology that defied Imperial understanding. Energy signatures spiked across every sensor in the system as the ship's true capabilities came online. On Patrol 7, Commander Zexthara watched in amazement as her instruments registered power readings that shouldn't have been possible. The human ship was broadcasting on every frequency simultaneously, and the message was being transmitted to every inhabited world in the sector. Asterisk. "Citizens of the Galactic Empire," the transmission began, and the voice was unmistakably human, speaking with quiet authority. "You have been told that humanity destroyed itself in ancient wars. This is a lie. Your leaders ordered our extinction when we refused to submit to Imperial rule. They hunted us through the stars, destroyed our colonies, and scattered our survivors to the far edges of space." The transmission continued with devastating historical evidence, displaying records that the Empire had thought were safely buried. Images of Imperial warships bombarding human settlements, communications between Imperial commanders discussing the final solution to the human problem, even audio recordings of Imperial officials celebrating the completion of what they called necessary extermination. "We survived," the human voice continued, We endured, we remembered, and now we have returned to claim what was taken from us. This is not conquest. This is justice. Across the Empire, on hundreds of worlds, billions of citizens watched in shock as their understanding of history crumbled. The imperial propaganda machine had been so effective that most people genuinely believed humans had been extinct long before Empire encountered them. Fleet Group Omega arrived at the intercept coordinates to find the human vessel waiting. For them, apparently motionless in space. Admiral Cronval studied the tactical display from the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion. His 47 ships formed a perfect attack formation around the single human vessel. All ships, power weapons, and prepare to fire on my command, he ordered. But before he could give the order to attack, something extraordinary happened. Every ship in his fleet suddenly lost power. Not just weapons and shields, but everything. Life support, gravity, communication systems, even emergency lighting. For 30 seconds, 47 Imperial warships drifted helplessly in space. Then the power returned, as mysteriously as it had vanished. On every bridge, the same message appeared on every screen. This was a demonstration. We could have chosen destruction. We chose mercy. Consider this carefully. Admiral Cronval stared at the message, his confidence shattered. In those 30 seconds, the human ship had demonstrated that it could disable his entire fleet without firing a single shot. If they had wanted to destroy the Imperial ships, there would have been nothing to stop them. Sir, his communications officer spoke hesitantly, we're receiving a direct transmission from the human vessel. The main screen flickered and displayed a human face for the first time in 5 centuries. Captain Sarah Chun appeared before them, her expression serious but not hostile. Admiral Cronval, she said, we meet at last. I am Captain Sarah Chun, of the human vessel Defiance. We have come not as conquerors, but as the voices of the dead. Your empire owes a debt that has gone unpaid for 500 years. Cronval found his voice. What do you want? Truth, Sarah replied simply. Acknowledgement, and a chance for both our peoples to forge a better future than the one built on lies and graves. The admiral looked around his bridge at the faces of his officers. They had all heard the historical broadcasts. They had all seen the evidence of imperial war crimes. And they had all just experienced firsthand how easily the human ship could have destroyed them. I need to contact the High Council, he said finally. Sarah nodded. You have 24 hours to decide. Will you continue the lies of the past or face the truth of what was done? Choose wisely, Admiral. The future of the galaxy depends on it. The Reckoning, the emergency session of the Imperial High Council, had been in session for 18 hours. The Great Chamber, normally a place of measured debate and careful politics, now crackled with tension and fear. High Counselor Veltaris stood at the center of the room, surrounded by holographic displays, showing the human vessel Defiance and the fleet surrounding it. The situation is unprecedented, she announced to the assembled counselors. For the first time in Empire history, we face an opponent who possesses technology superior to our own and knowledge of our classified historical records. Vekvar, a hawkish military supporter, slammed his fist on his desk. Superior technology or not, they are one ship against the might of the entire Empire. We have over 10,000 vessels at our disposal. Mobilize everything. And accomplish what? Veltaris shot back. They disabled 47 of our best ships without firing a shot. What makes you think 10,000 would fare better? Dr. Melwin projected new sensor readings for the Council to see. Our analysis suggests that the human vessel is not just technologically advanced, but operates on completely different scientific principles. Their power source alone generates more energy than our largest space stations. If they chose to attack, Unfinished sentence hung in the air like a death sentence dot in the outer system. Admiral Cronville paced the bridge of the Dominion, his career and everything he believed in crumbling around him. The historical evidence broadcast by the humans had been verified by Imperial archives, much to everyone's horror. The genocide of humanity was not propaganda or enemy lies. It was documented Imperial policy from 5 centuries ago. Sir, his communications officer interrupted his thoughts. Captain Shun is requesting another conversation. Cronville straightened his uniform and faced the main screen. Sarah Chun appeared, but this time she was not alone. Behind her stood several other humans, and through the viewport behind them, space itself seemed to be changing. Admiral, Sarah said, "Our time is running short. Have your leaders reached a decision? They're still debating." Captain Shun, I must ask, are there more of you? More ships? Sarah's expression remained neutral, but Cronville caught the slightest hint of a smile. Admiral, look at your long-range sensors. Cronville turned to a sensor officer, who was staring at his console in disbelief. Sir, I'm reading multiple contacts throughout the system. They're appearing everywhere. The tactical display, filled with new signatures. Not just ships, but space stations, mobile platforms, and structures that defied easy classification. In the span of minutes, what had been empty space now teemed with human technology that had somehow remained completely hidden until this moment. 500 years, Admiral, Sarah continued. 500 years of hiding in the dark between stars, building our strength, perfecting our technology, and waiting for the right moment. We are not refugees anymore. We are a civilization that has grown beyond your ability to comprehend. On the capital world, similar revelations were causing panic in the Imperial command structure. Dr. Melwin rushed into the council chamber with readings that defied explanation. Counselors, we're detecting human installations throughout Imperial space, not just ships, but permanent structures. They've been living among us, completely undetected, for decades or perhaps centuries. High Counselor Veltaris felt the full weight of the Empire's situation settling on her shoulders. This was not an invasion. It was the revelation of an occupation that had already succeeded. How many? She asked quietly. We estimate several million humans are currently within our territory, possibly more. Their stealth technology is so advanced that we may never have accurate numbers. The council chamber erupted in shouting and panic, but Veltaris raised her hand for silence. She had made her decision. Open a channel to the human vessel. I will speak with them directly. Meanwhile, on distant worlds throughout the Empire, something unprecedented was happening. Human beings who had lived quietly among alien populations for generations were revealing themselves. They emerged from positions as technicians, doctors, teachers, and even government officials. They had integrated so thoroughly into Imperial society that their absence of their presence had never been questioned. Captain Sarah Chun received the transmission from High Counselor Veltaris in the privacy of her ready room aboard the Defiance. The alien leader looked tired and defeated, but there was also something else in her expression: relief. Captain Chun, Veltaris began, I have reviewed the historical records. What the Empire did to your people was genocide, and no amount of time can excuse or diminish that crime. Sarah remained silent, allowing the admission to stand. We are prepared to acknowledge this truth publicly and to begin discussions about reparations. What would your people require? Sarah leaned back in her chair. Counselor, you misunderstand our position. We are not here as supplicants seeking reparations from a position of weakness. We are here as equals, demanding recognition of what we have already accomplished. I don't understand. Sarah activated a holographic display that showed the true scope of human civilization. Hidden cities in asteroid belts, underground colonies on supposedly uninhabited worlds, massive generation ships disguised as space debris, and a network of technology that connected it all. We rebuilt, Counselor. While your empire spread across the galaxy, we were already here, living alongside you, learning from you, and surpassing you. We have colonies and systems you've never explored, technology you can't imagine, and resources you can't match. Veltaris stared at the display in amazement. The humans hadn't just survived, they had thrived. Then why reveal yourselves now? Why this confrontation? Because secrecy was a necessity, not a choice, Sarah replied. Our children deserve to know their true heritage. They deserve to live in the light instead of the shadows. And the galaxy deserves to know the truth about what happened 5 centuries ago. The conversation was interrupted by an urgent communication from Admiral Cronville. His image appeared on a second screen, his face pale with shock. Counselor, Captain, we have a situation. Multiple human vessels are approaching inhabited systems throughout the Empire. Not threatening, but they're taking positions around our major worlds. Sarah nodded calmly. The demonstration phase is complete. Now comes the choice. She stood and walked to the viewport of her ready room, gazing out at the stars that had once been forbidden to her people. The Empire can continue to live with the ally, and we will fade back into the shadows as we have for 5 centuries. Or the Empire can acknowledge the truth, and we can work together to build something better than what either of us could achieve alone. High Counselor Veltaris looked at the scope of human achievement displayed before her, then at the military reports flooding in about human vessels throughout Imperial space. The choice was clear. What do you propose? Partnership, Sarah said simply. Not submission, not conquest, but cooperation between equals. We share our technology. You share your resources. We work together to explore the galaxy and face whatever challenges await us among the stars. The proposal was radical beyond anything in Imperial history. The Empire had always expanded through conquest and domination. The idea of accepting another species as true equals was revolutionary. But as Veltaris looked at the evidence of human capabilities and the peaceful nature of their revelation, she realized this might be the Empire's greatest opportunity rather than its greatest threat. I will present your proposal to the full Council, she said finally. But I believe I can speak for the majority when I say, we accept. 3 months later, the first joint human Imperial space station was under construction in neutral space. Captain Sarah Chun stood in the observation deck alongside High Counselor Veltaris, watching human and alien engineers working side by side. Do you think it will work? Veltaris asked. This partnership between our peoples? Sarah smiled, the first genuinely relaxed expression the alien leader had ever seen on the human's face. Counselor, my people spent 500 years proving that we could survive anything the universe threw at us. Working together with the Empire instead of against it, that's going to be the easy part. Outside the viewport, human and Imperial ships moved in formation toward the distant stars, carrying exploration teams and colonists to worlds that neither species could have reached alone. The age of hidden survival was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And in the vast emptiness between the stars, other civilizations detected the energy signatures of this new alliance and began to take notice. The galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place.